My name is Nicole Rodriguez,
I'm Chelsea Trillo.
and this is our project. It is a part of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I just wanted to say thank you to every single classmate in here for allowing me to share this story with you guys. It's really dear to my heart. And our project is the start. It was actually birthed in here. The start of the Weathersby Youth Outreach. And how the vision came to be. Well, let me tell you. My son, Diamond Allen, was a sixth grader at Alliance Academy in Oakland off of 98th Avenue. And he started bringing his friends over after school for movie nights, just over to just come hang out and keep, just to stay off the streets. And I wouldn't have wanted it any other way because growing up in Oakland, I have seen, the violence and our youth get entangled into drugs and just different negative influences that are not healthy. And it was just something that seeing the youth come over, I began to fall in love with them because for myself, growing up in the foster care system, a mother addicted to drugs and experiencing everything that I've experienced, my heart immediately went out to these youth. And living right there in the heart of East Oakland, the inner city, I wanted to make an impact. And just by having them over, I felt that that was making an impact because they didn't have to spend time in the streets and doing things that they shouldn't. So, and Lee Weathersby was one of those youth, and he was so much fun to be around. And I allowed them to run through my house and act like kids, and just do the things that they weren't allowed to do. And Lee was just an amazing kid. He was my son's best friend. They were all best friends. And that changed. January 1st, Lee Weathersby III, he was the first homicide in Oakland. He was walking home from the Boys and Girls Club, and he was 7 blocks from his home, and he was mistaken for someone else. He was shot. He was gunned down, shot 28 times, and before there was hands up, don't shoot, Lee was saying, help me, and no one helped him. It was a neighborhood. There was no one that seen anything, and it was just very unfortunate that one of my own youth, I felt so connected to Lee. And that night, we were doing something at the church, and our car wasn't working. And I kind of blamed myself. I told his mom, if our car was working, those youth would have been with us. Because they were with us every week, and what brought them together was their love for God. And I would pack them out in my Suburban, 15 of them in the trunk. And, they would lap it, and whatever we had to do to get them to church, they were there, and they loved it. And that's what brought them together. They, Lee was the center of that, and his death, pushed the vision forward. Before, when the youth came over, the vision was already there to have a safe space for them. It was already there to keep them safe, and the death of Lee, like I said, pushed that vision forward. And Lee's life mattered. And it's important that this vision gets pushed forward because through the death of Lee, there's many more youth out there that need to be reached in our city of Oakland. And I feel so connected to this because I see what happens in our streets, and I say to myself, if I don't do anything about it, then this is just going to continue to happen, and more youth are going to lose their life to, if it's gun violence, it's going to be jails, it's going to be, the girls are going to be on international, they're going to be prostituting. One of the girls that actually was a part of this youth group is actually sitting, I spoke to her mom this morning, is sitting in juvenile hall. So this is something that's so important that we take a stand. As I stand here before you in class, Chelsea, she helped me birth this vision. And I stand here saying that I also need you guys to help as well push this forward, because if not, we're going to lose our youth to the streets. And the goal of the...
Is he on your shirt?
Lee Weathersby.
Congrats.
Like I said, the vision of the bus was there before when these youth came, and now, you know, this is the youth right here at my house making cupcakes, you know, to raise money for the bus. And this is actually the girl that's actually sitting in jail in juvenile hall right now. Her name's Vanessa. High-speed chase with the wrong group of people, hanging out with the wrong group, and that's part of, you know, making sure that we have a place for these young people to go. If they don't have anywhere to go after school, then what's going to happen? So, and this is us at the Oakland Coliseum. Like I said, when we would all get together, it was church that brought them together. It was God that brought them together. And with our church, there's a lot of fundraising and Run for Hope and different activities. And this was one of the days that we were out fundraising for Run for Hope at the Oakland Coliseum. This is Lee right here holding the Jesus sign. And these are, you know, this is my son Diamond, and this is not all of them, but this is a good group that would come, and we would just go out and sell cupcakes and do fundraising and raise money for the bus and just tell people about the love of God. And this was their graduation day. This is after we had purchased the bus.
I'm sorry, I just want to point out, they bought the bus just by making cupcakes and selling it in front of Walmart and like in other places. And I just think that's amazing. Like, I didn't get to be a part of that because that was done by, was it June of 2014?
Yeah, that was
July 2014?
it was June of 2004.
So 6 months after he passed, they just sold cupcakes. Like, I think that,
In
I
front
don't
of
know.
Walmart.
I just want to emphasize that. I think it's really beautiful, but yeah.
How much money were you able to raise?
We raised $22,500. The bus was $3,000, but they gave it to us for that price. They had seen what was going on. They seen the newspaper articles. They seen the news clips because we were pushing, you know, the vision of the bus through KTVU. We were on the news and pushing that vision through the bus because Lee's life mattered. It mattered, you know, and because he passed, you know, it meant that there's still more work to do, and we wanted to use this bus to be able to pick up more Lees in Oakland. So yes, our short-term goals is right now to raise money to get the bus working and running, insured. Right now it's sitting, and as it's sitting, more youth are, you know, getting entangled in the streets. As it's sitting, you know, more youth don't have a way to go to church. These youth, they want to go to church. They still come to my house every 2 weeks, and I have no way to get them there. And so our short-term goal is to raise money to get the bus working and provide transportation for the youth. Not only get to church, but to take them out of Oakland, take them camping in Great America, and just to love on them and take them away from, you know, the environment, and just show them love and give them something more and let them see outside of Oakland, because most of them won't get to Oakland. I want to see these youth go to Disneyland. Like, I can imagine their faces at Disneyland, you know, and this summer I would like to raise money and take them to Great America. You know, there's about 15 of them, but it's like, if we don't do these things, then other things are gonna, I feel that other things are gonna get their attention, and we're gonna lose them. I'm gonna lose them. Our long-term goal is to open a youth outreach center in honor of Lee Weathersby III. And these services, again, will include, you know, transportation to and from church, home, you know, because I feel if Lee had a ride home at night, maybe that wouldn't happen, you know, and it's important that these youth have a way around, and that bus is going to provide that, and the center is going to provide a place where they can receive counseling and mentorship. I see people coming in doing like gun control and life skills classes and money management, and with the nonprofit you can get like you know, donations. So I see getting donations and having outreaches to help the community and reaching the needs, because once we reach the youth, then we can reach the family. And there's going to be poverty, there's going to be, you know, these things in our community, but it's, for me, it's like, how can we tackle that? And through the youth center, it's going to bridge out to education, it's going to transportation, and to really connect youth and their families to something that's positive, because we don't see that a lot in the city of Oakland. And so,
What's the Adopt a Block?
Adopt a Block comes from the Dream Center. The Dream Center, I don't know if you've heard of it. If you'd like to write that down, it's a huge organization. It's in Los Angeles, and they do, they're like a model of how to do, they do adopt a block. They literally go into a neighborhood, knock on the door, and ask the people what their needs are, and they address those needs, whether it be through clothing, resources, finance, whatever it is. They take that model and they go into the community and they make a difference. And so that's part of the Dream Center concept. I'm a part of the Dream Center. I went to a conference last year and I'm gonna go again next year. And it's pretty much showing you how to take your dreams and to make them a reality, and their foundation is the Word of God. So I'm gonna turn it over to Chelsea.
Cool, yeah, so I just wanted to first say that I was really honored. I remember when she spoke, when we all kind of like proposed our ideas and she spoke, I was like, I already knew that I wanted to do a research paper, but then when I heard this, I knew I wanted to be a part of it, so I approached her and said, you know, any way that I can help, I would like to help. And so, you know, I don't have the personal connection to these kids, but, you know, I've experienced suffering, I've experienced loneliness and like those kind of things, and I've experienced temptations of like being a part of something that would lead to a negative lifestyle, and those feelings are translatable, and in that way I can empathize. So anyway, so my role in all of this was to take her whole dream and kind of create steps for us, right? Like, how can we get this going? So the first time that we met about this, she just like kept talking about like, you know, everything that she told you guys, and in my head I was calculating how to do steps. So our process was, I wanted to first obviously understand the vision, so I wanted to make sure that we had a summary of like her goals, like her history, and then both short-term and long-term. Because she had so many goals, and it's great, and I love it. And we just needed to kind of like figure out how to calculate it. Because a part of taking a social movements class or any WS class is that you have to learn from like the successes and failures of certain social movements, certain like, you know, groups. And so I was kind of thinking formulaically like that. The first thing I wanted to do was make sure that this name is something that can be referenced, that people are familiar with. So social networking was like my main thing. I only have a Facebook. I feel like a grandma, like I don't know how to make a website or do Twitter. I've never, like hashtags were a new thing for me, so like I really played around with it. I maybe overdid it, but whatever. I'm learning. Set up the PayPal account, the email for direct contact. Google Analytics was for, so when I created the website, I needed to view like how many people were actually, like the traffic of our website. So I had to create that, which was a new thing that I learned too. And then, yeah, so obviously these kids were going to be on the internet, and so I asked Nicole to make sure that there's permission slips that were available to them and stuff like that. So I wanted to show you guys the website that we were working on. And like when I did this, I remember it was like I worked 8 hours straight and then took a nap and then worked another 5 hours. But like during it, I was like really emotional because I had to constantly look at pictures of me and constantly look at pictures of the youth, and knowing Nicole's story, knowing the kids' story, knowing the community story, I got really emotional. I was like crying while typing and stuff like that. But it was a beautiful process for me. So I'm going to show you the site. On the slips that I gave you guys, I put all the social networking stuff. So here's like a little bit of it.
That's cool, I like that statement, one lead at a time.
So how do you
Minimize it?
minimize? Thank you.
Do escape.
Escape.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Okay, 1 second.
Sometimes if we double tap on the scroll pad, it kind of minimizes it too. I don't know.
Okay. Is this good enough? I'm sorry, like you can't see. Yeah, okay. So this is the home page.
Yeah, that's fine.
Which this picture I am obsessed with. I think it's really powerful. And you can't see, but her son is right here holding a sign that says change.
Can you scoot open?
I don't know.
This was actually before the graduation.
Oh,
We
that's
had
the
a
end of the
march.
photo.
Oh, that is the end of the photo.
It's in the photo.
We had a march around 98th, all around the school, international, and there's like probably about 200 students, and we're playing the drums and just L's up, guns down, because Lee lost his brother 19 days later. So there's this huge, movement in Oakland. L's up, guns down. Not only that, there was
His mom
Lee's
started
brothers.
it.
Huh?
His mom started that.
Yeah, his mom started L's Up, Guns Down movement in Oakland, and it was not only Lee and his brother, but it was Lee's brother's best friend. So they all died. Lee was the first homicide, Lamar was the fourth, and little D was the fifth. So this was one of the marches around the school.
So if you go to the site, just click that, and then we have like an about me, the story that Nicole was telling, and then the same short-term and long-term goals that you guys saw. I still have to work on this. The Meet Us, I wanted to put pictures up. So like right now I have a couple of the youth. But ideally what I wanted to do was have, so it says Meet Our Youth, and I guess they call them
They call themselves the squad.
Meet Our Founders. I was gonna have a picture of her, Danielle, who is the mother of Lee, and then her son actually wants to adopt this organization when, there is no longer another board. He's on the board.
Yes,
but
yeah. So that legacy
So-
that's going to continue, not only my son, but the group of youth that are all connected with Lee, this is something that they can take over, because they're so connected to it, and carry it on, because it's not going to, it's important
Yeah.
that the legacy continues.
So then, different ways that you can support us. I also put a news link because, like she was saying, she was on KTVU with Frank Sommerville's the best. Most recently, on April 29th, her son Diamond was featured on KQED. And so we have all the news here. If we have time, towards the end, then we'll show you a little bit of that. But it's really powerful because essentially what they were saying is that there's so much, street warfare and gang violence that happens that in schools that are associated, the kids experience trauma. And right after Lee's death, what was it? Over 200 kids requested for a therapist on their campus, and there wasn't enough people to help them. And so they were kind of acknowledging that in the interview with Diamond. So yeah, how do you go back to the PowerPoint? I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and then the other one is the Facebook, or Facebook, and then Twitter. Yeah, so I wanted to show you our progress with that. This is not really representing what the website traffic was, because I did this maybe a week after I actually put the website live. What I was really happy about was that the new users is almost 100%, so it's not the same people visiting it. What I'm sad about is that they're not spending that much time on it, but we're gonna fix that somehow. On Facebook, within 2 days, we got 300 likes. Right now, we're at 303. And when it says 1,040 people visited it, that means 1,040 separate people. It's not like if you visited twice, it would count towards that. If anybody shared our Facebook, then that's a new viewer. Twitter, we have 13 followers. That's something. But yeah. And then, so how this applies to our class. Food experience, obviously we're talking about that. It just allows you to be more passionate about it because you're able to empathize and understand the real struggle that's happening in these communities. In addition to that, we talk a lot about active resistance in ways that we can create alternatives to incarceration, especially for communities of color. So yeah, the importance of community involvement, like what they did with the cupcakes and kind of taking advantage of those movements, not taking advantage, I'm sorry, but when we were speaking about relative